The AFC North has a lot of questions to answer this offseason. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, Diggs Report, and in this video we're going to talk about the AFC North, every team's top free agent, where they're picking in the draft, and what their cap space looks like. Let's start with the Baltimore Ravens. Alright, with the Ravens, they had a tremendous regular season. They went 14-2. They had the NFL MVP in Lamar Jackson, and it was the first time that the Ravens ever got the #1 seed. And what happens? They did not do well in the playoffs. And why did they not do well in the playoffs? Well, Derrick Henry kind of ran all over the front seven. And that's really where the Ravens have got to focus their energy in the offseason, particularly edge rusher. Matt Judon was their only consistent edge rusher throughout the season, and he's a free agent. And he's going to require a big contract, and I don't know if the Ravens can afford that. They only have $30 million in cap space, so they've got to get an edge rusher. Luckily, this draft is going to be full of edge rushers. Now, they do pick 28th overall, so we'll see what they do. But one thing I know from Baltimore, they know how to pick when they're later in the draft. Cincinnati, there's no sugarcoating it. They had a terrible season, but now they get the first overall pick. Now, we're all assuming that it's going to be Joe Burrow, and we're going to keep assuming it until we're told otherwise. But that's not their top need. Their top need is not quarterback. Their top need is at the linebacker position. They have got to find some linebacker help. I'm not seeing a whole lot of guys in that linebacking core that can really help them out, so they need help at the linebacking position. And we all know the top free agent is A.J. Green. A.J. Green, he's been a great player for them for many years, but he's been hurt the past few years. Do the Bengals think that he can get over these injuries and get back to the Pro Bowl, All-Pro player that he has been, or are they going to let him move on? That's going to be an interesting storyline. And they have $47 million in cap space. Now, that's not bad, but it's not the best. It's good for 18th overall, so they can make a few moves. Let me ask you something. How does an offense with two really good receivers, two really good running backs, and a quarterback that had a really good rookie year struggle all year long? Answer? Your offensive line is not doing the job. And that's really where Cleveland should focus on during the offseason. The offensive line, they've got to improve it. Protect Baker, open up holes for these running backs. They have those pieces, but if they're not getting any protection from the offensive line, it's not going to work. And for Cleveland, their top free agent, it's going to be Damarious Randall. I'm looking at these free agents, and Damarious Randall really is the best one of the bunch. Randall was a first-round pick by the Packers. They got traded to Cleveland. He's been a solid player. I think he's worth keeping around, but maybe Cleveland will focus on other things. Maybe they won't re-sign him. I don't know what Cleveland's going to do. They have $58 million in cap space. That's good for 10th overall. They also have the 10th overall pick, so Cleveland should be able to get some really good players. Let's hope they don't blow it. The Steelers right now have two problems going into the offseason. One, they don't have a first-round pick. They traded that for Micah Fitzpatrick, so they don't pick till 49th overall in the second round. And the second problem, they have -$2 million in cap space. Yes, -$2 million. They are over the cap. They have got to make some moves before free agency begins. They got to figure out how to open up some cap space. And their top free agent, it's Bud Dupree. Now, Bud Dupree was considered a little bit of a disappointment as a first-round pick, but he really got to show what he could do this year. So he's going to get a big money deal. Whether it's from the Steelers is all going to depend on whether they can free enough cap space to re-sign him. It's going to be tough, but maybe they can pull it off. And the Steelers need to focus on getting a tight end. Alright guys, that was the AFC North. Next up is the NFC North, and I'll see you then.